All right, so Big Stu.
What's up?
Big Stu.
What's up, man?
Where'd you get that name, man?
Honestly, so it started off back in my first duty station. Everybody used to call me like Stewie or something like that because no one wanted to say my full last name, which is Stuart Cannon, and it's a mouthful, right? Honestly. So one of my homeboys, Newton, he would just call me Stewie, and then I was like, I'm a grown man. Don't call me Stewie, man. I didn't like it. So I kept telling him for like weeks, stop calling me Stewie. So he's like, I'm just call you Stu. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So everybody caught on to it within IPAC because that was the first section that I worked in back in Quantico. And then my Gunny Wiltshire at the time, he caught on to it. So he used to be like, yo, what's up, Stu? Like smooth dude. Like, what's up, Stu? Da-da-da-da. One day he comes in and he said he saw me, I had a Mustang convertible at the time. So I was like that Lance Corporal, you know what I mean?
That typical Marine car.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, riding around. He's like, yeah, I see you out here, man. Big Stu, what you out here? What you out here doing? And I'm like, Big Stu. I'm like, all right, whatever. That's kind of weird. Whatever. I had North Carolina plates on my car, and then they had expired, and I didn't even know they had expired. So I had to get Virginia plates. Fast forward, I was like, I always wanted custom plates. I was like, what am I going to put on them? What am I going to put? Something Moto, Hoorah, or something like, nah, I can't do that. And then I was like, I'm going to put Big Stu. And then there it is. It just went from there. And
that's the murder she wrote.
Exactly. It just went from there.
So if y'all don't know, Stu is a recruiter right now.
Yep.
Again, like I told y'all, most of the people that I meet via the Marine Corps. So that shows you why all my guests are Marine Corps specific as of now. But either way, my man has a TikTok, YouTube, Instagram following. What got you into creating content?
So I've always been into creating content. Early on, dating back since like 2009 or 10, I started a clothing line back when I was in like a junior or sophomore in high school.
Really?
Yeah, man. And it was so big, like everybody was like wearing it. Like everybody was like into it. Like I had so pretty much what it was a clothing line, and it representing like the local artists or like the local like BMXers, skateboarders. It was like streetwear, you know what I mean? Because myself, I BMX, so I was like, I'm gonna make something that I would wear while I'm riding.
All right, I just learned something new. All right,
yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna make something that I want to wear. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, I met people in high school, and then next thing you know, everybody was into it. It was called Suburban Bros Clothing. So I couldn't really sit here and portray like I'm this hood dude when I'm living in this nice, 2-story home. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I'm gonna make something that's catchy. Everybody loved it. And then we had video. We started putting on videos. Being that a guy that I love videography, I would film the music videos for all my artists.
Gotcha.
I had like 4 or 5 artists up under me, like local artists. And fast forward a couple years later, things, when you graduate, you start to lose touch for like.
All this is prior to the Marine Corps.
Yeah, all this is prior to the Marine Corps. This is like way before even the Marine Corps was started. Like I knew I was gonna join the Marine Corps, but like.
You were still doing your own thing.
Yeah, that was something totally different. This was, like I said, I was a junior, sophomore in high school. I had a thought sophomore, junior, I executed senior year. That's when it really like blew up and it caught on, because I was big dog on the block, senior, whatever.
Yeah.
So fast forward, we did this one music video that blew up like so big that to us, it blew up. You know what I mean? We had a bunch of people in New Mexico, California seeing it, Texas. It really blew up in North Carolina because that's where we were based out of.
Is it still on YouTube?
Actually, no, it's not, man. I got so salty one day I deleted the whole YouTube channel. I got salty. I don't know why. I kept looking at it. I was like, man, this should have been something else. And I was like, man, delete. So everybody was all like, why did you delete it? Like those are memories.
And you don't have the file.
No, I still have them.
Oh, okay.
I just have to. I have to look into my external hard drives and get them without corrupting them because they're so old.
Got you.
But yeah, man, it just evolved from there. I turned around after that. It was just me. Everybody graduated from high school, Army, college, work, and then everybody just went off and did their own thing. So it was just me back to square one. Like, I still believe in the Suburban Bros, but I don't have my team no more. You know what I mean? I don't have my boys, which I can't blame them. They went off and did their own thing.
Yeah.
So I went off and I did Art Institute of Charleston, South Carolina. I did that for about a quarter because they don't work on semesters. They do like 3 months, whatever. And I couldn't hack it. Like I couldn't hack it at all.
What do you learn while you're there? Do you choose a craft and you learn that specifically?
Yes,
or is it
only that? So of course you got your core classes, of course, like your math and all that stuff. But like you go to school for what you're learning. Like, that's it. Like, all that extra stuff, like, they're like, no, you came to school for this. You're going to learn that. So I was in, like, the history of, like, filming. I seen, like, the very first clip that was ever filmed. And, like, you know, we also, like, had a couple nights where we had a class at night. We were doing, like, a night shoot, and we had to do our own, like, project. We had, like, a team. And I didn't even get to that, honestly. Like, I didn't get to that point because I had to come back home because I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't afford it. And that tore me up, man.
Got you.
Tore me up. So from there.
So when you say you couldn't hack it, it wasn't, your skill set wasn't there.
No, it wasn't that. It was financial.
Gotcha.
All financial.
Gotcha.
I loved it. Like, and on top of that, I was irresponsible. I was not waking up for, like, I had one class that I always missed. And it was the film class. Like, it was the main, like, I went there like 4 or 5 times. But I was just terrible with, like, waking up in the morning, like, terrible.
Man.
But yeah, it wasn't like based off like me, like I can't hack college. It was all purely financial.
Got you. It's crazy because me and a really good friend of mine in the Marine Corps started a clothing brand too.
Really?
Right? And it was live for like 5 years. And it's crazy because it's one of those things that when I was in middle school, I come from a little bit of a different background. Like, we didn't have money like that, but it was something that I've always had a creative itch myself.
Right.
And as soon as I had the money and the ability to do so, we started doing research. We looked into it, and ours was called Untamed Youth.
Okay.
And to be honest, not the website, but the Instagram is still alive.
Yeah.
Because we dance around the idea of bringing it back.
Yeah. Put off to the side though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Marine Corps recruiting, man, it takes a little bit of time from you. So we both stepped away. He got out the Marine Corps. I came on recruiting duty. So it took a little bit of time from us. But I know exactly how you
feeling,
felt.
like
it's great.
You look at it like, oh, I want to keep doing it, but I can't because I got this and this and this at hand. Or like I said, like my financial situation was not there. Like
that part.
It was like the biggest like downer. Like knowing I have all these ideas and I'm really big on like visuals, like photos and like videos. And I noticed like a lot of brands wasn't like really hitting on that. They were just like putting out clothes. And like at that time, like around 2012, 13 time frame, it was like, you know, putting out clothes. I was like, put like a video to it. Like, you know, I filmed my own promos for like new releases for t-shirts, and I still got like 2 or 3 shirts like left over from it. Yeah. But it definitely like ate me up knowing that like I could see it and I would search it and it was just like, man, like it could have been like this big thing. So I was like, delete.
It's a good feeling though, especially while you're in it, watching other people buy your products and then wearing your products, right? I remember the first time I was out and about because the majority of who was buying our products were people that knew us. Yeah. But every once in a while we get an order for somebody that was random. Yeah. And I remember the very first time I was in Oki while we were doing the main push for it. Yeah. And I had gotten on commission at a store in Oki. So, or I forget what it's called, but you can take the product as they sell it, they give you the money.
Yeah, and you got to give them percent.
Exactly.
Like it was in their store.
Exactly. Right. I'm walking around in American Village and I'm like, yo,
that's my that's dope. That's dope, man. Like I've seen that before. Like my first surreal moment, like, you know, especially like I'm doing like the social media, I get a lot now. And it's so real that like, you know, I'm out of my state down from like North Carolina, Detroit and stuff. And like, I got people in LA coming up to me. It's like, yo, you that one dude. And I'm like, it's like, how you know? Cause the gray patch. I'm like, damn. Not the video. No, it's like, all right, cool. But no, I've had that before, but like the very first time I had that feeling when somebody came up to me and he recognized me, it was like in 2012 or 13, right after I graduated high school. We were still kind of like, we're hanging on like for dear life with this Suburban Bros thing. And I love doing like team trips, you know what I mean? And I would do like a vlog pretty much. Before I even knew what vlogs were, I was doing vlogs. And we're sitting there, we're leaving the hotel and we get on the beach and we're at Myrtle Beach and we're walking around, and the little kid comes up to me. He was like, yo, you look familiar. And I was like, you're like 13. Yeah. I've never seen you in my life, dude. Yeah. And he was like, no, like you got a YouTube channel or something like that? I was like, yeah, dude. He was like, oh, I love your videos. Like you got Vince and, you know, Drew and Othello and all of that. Cause like he's seen all the music and stuff based off the video that blew up. And I was like, yo, like that's crazy. I went back home and I looked at like the analytics and no crap, like the video
was still doing numbers.
It was still doing numbers in South Carolina. I was like, bro, that is crazy. And to me, that was just like, made me like, flutter. I was like,
yeah. How do you handle that when people approach you that you don't know?
You know, to this day, I'm a fanboy of like, you know, fanboys, if that makes sense. Like, so when people be like, they're like, yo, you're that one dude. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's me. It's like, what's up, man? Hey, I love your videos. Say thanks. And then they walk off and they're just like, and then hearing me are,
Man,
you know what I mean?
you and me both. So it's funny because the first time this happened to me, right?
Yeah.
I was at the Miramar Air Show.
Yeah.
I'm walking around Miramar Air Show. Me and my family, we're just actually we were having a pool function, so we're bringing everybody that was a part of the program to the Miramar Air Show, and we're just walking around. The pulleys were off, doing their thing. We told them, "Hey, meet us at this point at a certain time." Walking around, and I had a kid come up and he was like, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And I'm like, yeah. And the same thing. As soon as he walks off, I was like,
yo, he just has to take a picture with me. No, I get it, man. That's crazy. That's like that feeling of like somebody recognizing you for like something that you're going to be doing anyways, even if it wasn't like the whole social media thing or whatever, or recruiting, you have to like advertise yourself. Like it's a good feeling, being recognized. Cause like, as in the job field that we do, we not always recognized for a lot of stuff, or we're not expecting it. It's not like a thing that like I want to get recognized for doing this and this and this
because it's expected.
It's expected. You know what I mean? So when you do get that random one or two like people that come up to you, it's like, yo, you're that one dude. It's just like you gotta like kind of play it cool. It's just like, man, well played. You know what I mean?
So for you, what kind of got the gears turning on? Because I know you went to, and you said it's something that has always been a thing for you, just kind of inherently fell into it. But what was the first thing that kind of tilted you towards wanting to do it?
Doing like the social media thing?
Videos, anything in general?
Honestly, I'm really big in YouTube, obviously. I say again. I follow like a bunch of YouTubers. Like the two main dudes that really pushed me to do it was this guy named DJ Ghost, which he does like music video reviews and like all types of, I'm putting in plugs to other people's channels and stuff. My bad. But like, it's two people, him and then this other guy named DDG. And the reason being,
I feel like I heard of DDG.
You have, he's an artist. He did like a few songs with Blueface, and he's pretty big. But no, I seen like, these dudes are getting paid for stuff that they were already going to be doing, just their lifestyle. You know what I mean? And I hear people all the time saying, yo, Stu, you're a funny dude. You get to do all this stuff. You're traveling. Like, you should do a vlog. And I'm like, whatever, and I started looking into it, and I started getting really in, like, I felt like I was a part of their life watching their videos. You know what I mean? I was like, imagine if somebody felt that way about me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm part of like, Big Stu's life or Stu's life or Sergeant Stu's life. You know what I mean? So back in 2019 or 2018, no, matter of fact, take the back. When I first joined the Marine Corps, I told I just like in high school, I thought to myself like, okay, how I'm going to do it? I thought about it for a year, and I couldn't really do it because I was new to the Marine Corps. So I was like, let me learn my job. Let me learn what I'm about first. And then 17, I started getting a little bit more. I was corporal, I was like, okay, I understand the Marine Corps a little bit more. About 2018, 2019, that's when I started putting action, like, feet to the pavement. And then that's when I started spending like all types of money on camera equipment, stickers, like logos, like all types of stuff. And then that's when it sat out from there. Like, I just wanted to emulate the same thing and just put my own spin to it. You know what I mean?
Of course. So for me, and I'm the same way in the regard of like, for some reason, I don't know where my itch to do it came from, but I've always been fascinated by cameras. When I was on deployment, I walked around with a little, one of those cheap, like digital cameras.
Yeah. The ones like, you got the little cord hanging out. It's like, an old school or two.
So I was like, you calling me old, man? No, I'm joking.
No, I remember them.
No, but I'm walking around deployment with that, and I remember recording, and I'm thinking to myself, and to be honest, I was going through the archive not too long ago, and I'm looking at these videos, and everybody on deployment was like, bro, why you got this camera? Why are you pointing this camera at me? Leave me alone. But it was just something that I was interested in doing. And to be honest, I never considered it to be something that you could potentially get paid for. And once I started to realize, like, this is a real life thing, I started looking at people like Casey Neistat, like Peter McKinnon, like these people that are artists in regards to cinematography that started leaning on the YouTube platform to display their artwork. And I'm like, that's dope. And then they started talking about them getting paid for it. And I'm like,
what do you mean?
Exactly. Because for me, it's something that I would be doing, like you said, regardless of whether or not I'm getting paid for it. But if there's the potential for that to happen, then why not? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
With the content that you create, do you get any negative drawback from it?
So when I first started, no, because when me and you both know when you're in the fleet, it's kind of like or when you're in the regular Marine Corps, as they say, you're on your special duty assignment or whatever. You kind of like in the shadows. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of do what you want, but not like anything. Okay, pretty much put it like this: like you can do what you want, just don't disharm, like create harm towards the Marine Corps, right?
Yes.
But when I came out to recruiting, it was a little bit different. I had to alter a lot of stuff, and I'm still altering like a lot of stuff. Like right now, like coming here, I'm doing a vlog, and I know it's going to be a lot of editing. You know what I mean? It's just I got a lot of pushback from it, but it's not going to stop me. Because I know exactly what I'm shooting for, and I know my intention. You know what I mean? I know my intention is pure, and I'm not out here trying to either portray something that I'm not, or cause harm to any organization, Marine Corps, or discredit anybody. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, and the main reason I ask that is because as I kind of grow on these platforms myself, it all started with nothing but love.
Yep.
Nothing but love from everybody.
Yeah.
And
that's how it starts.
I honestly, and that's the crazy part. And I try to taper myself away from getting too involved in the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because generally speaking, the people that are involved, unless they're, around all the time, and you get those people that show up repeatedly,
right?
But every once in a while, you'll get one or two that have no face, anything, and they're just coming and they're creating or trying to create some
for no reason. And sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But if the hate what I'm thinking that you're saying, if you go on my TikTok right now, go on any of my videos, I don't care what it is, mainly the recruiting videos, you're going to see so many comments saying, "Oh, you boot," or don't what is it, respect the uniform, or just like all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, what part of me, doing what I'm doing is doing any of that, like bringing discredit to the Marine Corps or the uniform, or me considered as a boot, because I've been in for 5 years and a couple months or whatever, and I got my 4 ribbons. You know what I mean? And everybody's like, "Oh, how you a whole sergeant with 4 ribbons?" You're pressed about some chest candy, dude?
That's the landscape of the Marine Corps right now in general, though.
You're pressed about some chest candy, dude. Like that's it. Like, so when it comes to like hate, man, it's gonna come. It's gonna come, and I laugh at it. And every once in a while, man, I catch myself like commenting, like stoking the fire a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead, like you want to get mad, I'm gonna post something to make you mad. You know what I mean? And that's not me. I'm not that type of person. But when I see somebody on my comments saying like stupid stuff like that, I legit laugh. Like I don't sit here and let anybody tiny comment say something, or tiny comment affect how I'm gonna do a video, because 9 out of 10 they try to say something like, "Oh, the Marine Corps is not about that," and I'm like, okay, let me see who this person is. Maybe he's like a sergeant major, or maybe he's like retired, or you did like 20 plus years. It's always like some 12-year-old kid.
It is.
I'm like, dude, you played Call of Duty and you think you know the Marine Corps? Like,
I get people that are in their like late 40s, late 50s sometimes, and generally speaking, they haven't even served in the military, so they have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And the majority of what I get is, like I said, it all started off with love, but then the majority of what I get in regards to negative comments is, "Do you really got to put your uniform on to make this video?" Or you? And I'm like, yo, I'm a recruiter, bro. Like I'm always in my
job. This is my job. Like, if you know my lifestyle, I'm always in this office. I'm always in this uniform. Like,
exactly.
It's rare that I wear civilian clothes. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you find yourself doing or enjoying outside of creating content?
Creating content, man. My bike, ride my bike, traveling. Like, say if I didn't have the camera in front of me, like I said, I'd still be doing this stuff. I would still be on my bike. I'd still be BMXing. I just haven't really had time to do it because, if I fall, then, a lot of things are at stake. I'm risking my whole shop, missing a Marine. And then on top of that, my health. Not only that, just any and everything. Like, I'm so open to doing any and everything. Like, you could tell me like, "Hey, Stu, we about to go we about to go hang gliding." All right, cool. And honestly, I was not always like that. Like, it happened probably about 2017, 2018. And, not to get too far behind that, but like I had went through a divorce, and I was the person that people know me today. I'm not that person. Like, I was not that person. I was totally different. How would you
identify that person?
Okay. Very insecure, insecure, childish, controlling, And not just like over the relationship, but just like over everything. Like I wanted to like, have my hand in something, you know what I mean? And it took for me to go through like, certain trial and tribulations like of my life to experience that and to realize what my worth is. So now like at the certain point of when I went through that, I sat back in my barracks room one day and I was like, dude, like my mental was, Yeah. So I sat back. I was like, dude, you're killing yourself. Like you're legit killing yourself sitting here in this room. So I told myself, I legit had a conversation with myself. And I was like, yo, out loud, Stu, you need to start saying yes to everything. Every opportunity that comes your way, you're saying yes to. Ironically, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. Ironically, after I said that, I ended up getting paired with a private. I was a Lance Corporal, and a private got put into my room. And I don't care about like the whole rank thing. Like I didn't really care, especially then, and especially not now. I don't really care about that. But like with the barracks life, it's a little bit different. So he was like a kid from Florida too, from Jacksonville, Florida. So he was like
wild child.
Wow. You know what I mean? Like Monday night, let's go to the club, DC. I'm like, what? So I'm sitting there watching Rick and Morty, chilling, getting ready, rolling my sleeves for, next day. And he was like, yo, we about to go to the club. And I'm like, all right, man, like, let me get ready. So I got ready. I'm sitting here and like, I'm glad that I did that. And, he got a little flack for it, the way he lived his life. But like, I appreciate like that he did that for me. I'm really thankful he did that for me because of the fact that if I didn't go through that and I didn't just start saying yes to everything, like, I don't know where I would be. You know what I mean? So, and it created a bunch of opportunities. Like, that's how I met my wife. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, fast forward now who I am, like, I'm open to any and everything, like, hey, hang gliding, skydiving, let's go bungee jumping. Let's go, ATVs, like anything. And it don't even have to be like that exciting. It could be something. You want to go to the library? All right. I ain't doing nothing. Let's go. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm probably not going to read.
you know what's crazy about that is and to be honest, it's crazy because we kind of got similar stories.
Yeah.
I was divorced at a very young age too. Yeah. I married coming into the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Went through a divorce. Yep. And my temperament back then was similar.
Yep.
I was first of all, I come from a very insecure upbringing because I don't think I got, what is the word? I don't want to say that I got pat on the back enough, but essentially
attention. You didn't get enough attention. Pretty much.
There we go. And so for me being able to dictate if I was getting attention,
right,
i.e. like what I can handle or what I can control,
right,
so to speak, I know that if I put myself in this situation, then it's gonna have the outcome that I want it to have. Yeah. And I found security in that. Mm-hmm. So at some point, once me and my ex-wife separated,
right,
I was in the barracks.
Yep.
And I was used to being married, coming home, doing whatever I'm doing at home, not really doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
And once I was in the barracks, the guys in the barracks just go and they go.
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be no agenda.
It's like, hey, we just go. We got paid. We spending all of it today.
We're going. That's it. And it got to the point where legitimately there were days where I was in the barracks and I started to do something similar along the lines of saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
But there were days in the barracks where I knew that everybody was going to do something.
Yep.
And I'd wait on the proper knock on the door.
Yep.
With the opportunity that I want to take advantage of, right? So it's still kind of controlling in a sense.
Yeah.
But I was more willing to go out and do some things.
Yep.
So I get a knock and be like, hey, we're going to the beach. I'm like, bro, we went to the beach last weekend. Nah, pass.
Yeah.
It was almost like a real life Tinder.
Yeah.
But
like,
for experiences,
nope.
right?
Yeah.
So eventually someone would come knock on the door and be like, hey, we're going to get mopeds today and we're just going to mob around downtown Honolulu.
Like,
and I'm like,
tight.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get it. And then that started to turn into my life.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's funny because I look at currently the situation I have in regards to my family. I would have never met my wife, or she probably would have never found me appealing if I was the same person I was back then.
Right.
Because I was such a quiet and reserved person.
Yeah.
I was the person that if you see me in a house party, I was probably in a corner, like not doing anything, chilling, just kind of just watching everybody else do their thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of the person that I'm like, I'm in there. Like, what we doing? Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Right.
And when I met my wife, she was like, this guy has no chill.
Yeah.
I like that. And I'm
I get it. I get it. And that's how it is, honestly, with my wife. Like, she's like pick up and go. Yeah. Like, for example, like one day when we were back when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, we were in the barracks back in Quantico, and I I told her, I was like, yo, Friday coming around, we haven't done anything like this past like couple weeks, weekends. I was like, Friday come, just have your backpack. She's like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? She had her backpack. You know, we got in my car. I don't know where we were driving, and we just got on the freaking road and went north. And I was like, yo, one of my homegirls live in Pittsburgh. I was like, we're going to Pittsburgh, which is like 3 hours away. So it was an easy drive. It was just like, next thing you know, we're sitting here in Pittsburgh. I was like, I've never been here before. Like, and it's just, it blew my mind. Like I tell people all this. I mean, I tell people this all the time. Within the span of like 3 months, man, I hit like eight or nine different states, including Hawaii 3 times.
That's dope.
So it's just like, what? And this is what like happened to me. Like when I was just like, yes to everything. So
that
legally.
There we go. Right.
Legally. Yeah.
So that one Marine that was kind of just out doing his own thing from Florida. So party boy kind of changed the direction in which your entire life was going.
Yeah. And honestly, that's when I said people like discredit him is because like he was considered as like a hothead. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's out of the Marine Corps right now. Obviously, you know, admin sept. Not to put anybody business out there, but you know, obviously, you know what's going to lead up to it. Something like that, living that life. Versus me, I knew my filter. You know, I knew,
and that's good.
I could turn it off and turn it on. I could easily tell him like, no, not tonight, not this Monday. You know, I ain't going to the club this Monday. But him, he's like, let's go. Which, you know, is cool. But with him, like, I really appreciate that. Like, I look back on that. I tell people that all the time. Like, that's what helped me get out of that, lack of better words, dump that I was in. You know what I mean? And I thank him for it.
Do you feel like that makes you kind of hypersensitive and be able to kind of identify, you know, when someone's kind of struggling with the same things you were going through at the time?
Yes. So I ran into a few people that were either going down that route or already in that route. I'm like, yo, this literally all you have to do is just do this. Just do this. And it'll work out. I promise you, you may run into some situations that you say yes to, that you just like, how the hell I end up here? But at the end of the day, you're going to sit back and be like, I did that. You know what I mean? Or that I learned something out of that. You know what I mean? Like, I live a life, I don't regret anything, whether it's good or bad. Like all the stuff that I've done, like I don't regret it. The reason why is because I learned something out of it, some type of way. Like,
that's powerful.
I've learned so much, like whether it was my barracks days, whether it was my, you know, high school days, whether, you know, my past marriage, like I've learned something out of it. Like I'm not mad of like her wanting to move on from, you know, our relationship and going off on a different side because like, you know, I was a toxic person. You know, I would have did the same thing. It's just I didn't see it then. You know what I mean? But now I sit back and I'm able to be like, yeah, that was all me. You know what I mean? Which is cool. Now I'm happy and I love what I have.
It's very unique that you're capable of doing that though.
Yeah.
Because in most cases, people can't acknowledge the fact that they have faults.
Right.
Or that, you know, okay, it's okay to learn from this and move on and not have to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
Because most people will look at situations and be like, nope, I got to forever be pissed about that. Or I got to forever, I can't do that because I remember the negative experience. Yeah. Maybe the negative experience just need to be gone through in order for you to understand how to navigate that experience next time. You know, for instance, you're in a marriage right now and I guarantee you it's a completely different experience from what the first one was.
Man, it's